As you know, I like money more than I like the Steelers. And to me, the angle that I have found with these two teams, historically, you're correct. These have been games that generally have been decided by 3 points more often than not. And Pittsburgh, believe it or not, has had the upper hand on Baltimore. As dominant as Baltimore has been over the last 5 years, Pittsburgh has still owned them. In Part of the reason is because the spread comes into play, and it also is the coaching philosophies of the two. And so what I'm going to give you here, I'm going to sound like Joe Ranieri, our buddy, coming with a first half wager, but that is where I'm going with this game. And I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens first half line -6. And here's the reasoning for that. If you look at Baltimore, in the first half of since 2005, the last 20 meetings between these two teams, Baltimore is actually 17-3 on the first half line against the spread against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, here's an angle since 2022. They are 2-10 against the spread in the first half when playing on the road, if they're playing on grass like they are in Baltimore. Now, the reason for that, you're going to say, okay, why are you looking at something like that? Well, we know that Baltimore gets out to quick starts. That's Harbaugh's coaching style. But then once he gets the lead, he has a tendency to take his foot off the gas and protect the lead, and we've seen teams come back against him. Mike Tomlin is the exact opposite. Mike Tomlin's philosophy is don't lose the game in the first quarter. Don't take chances. Don't have turnovers. He preaches turnovers all the time. His motto is, I want to be close and win the game in the fourth quarter. And too often we see the Steelers, then they open things up, then they start to go to hurry up, and then they come back because they've only a one-possession game. So I'm going to ride that theory. We've got the numbers that support it. We've got the coaching philosophies that support it. You know what? If it ain't broke, Prez, don't fix it. Let's lay 6 first half with Baltimore. And this is something that I'm sure you'll talk with Dave Mason later on more, but check your particular book if you already have a wager. Most books are going to rule this as a no bet because they changed the venue. Even though it's being played the same day, it's a change of venue, so it'll be a no bet. You will have to rebet the game at the new line. Now, speaking of that new line, we've seen the line rise because the Rams are no longer the home team. It's a neutral site. But really, Prez, and forget everything that's going on. And I don't want to diminish what's going on in LA, but let's talk if everything was normal in LA and LA was playing at home. That's the least value of a home field probably in the NFL. We know that. We've seen it. Okay, so now that they're adding points to this game because it's a change of venue, to me, the value has gone to the Rams. And where the other value is and how I will play this game if I'm involved in the game, there's only one way, and that is to use the Rams in teasers. You're going to tease this up and get it over the touchdown in this game. I'm going to say this much to you, Prez. I think Minnesota is built to make a deep run in the playoffs. However, I'm going to put an asterisk to that, and I feel the toughest game for the Minnesota Vikings is going to be this game immediately following that Detroit Lion game last week. We used the phrase, and our beloved friend introduced me to this angle when I did radio shows with him and Dave Koken. He said a team can lose the same game twice. And that was such a huge game last week with them. I know this is the playoffs and everything, but you went from possibly the number 1 seed to end up being the number 5 seed to now changing venues and everything else. If Minnesota gets by and wins this game, I think they make a deep run, but this will be tough for them. I think this is absolutely a one-possession game either way. And if you look at the Vikings all year, they've been a team that has played a bunch of close games. That's the way they play. I like the Rams on a teaser here. I'm going to find some opportunities to hook them with some teams. That's the way I am looking at that Monday night game. You know that I like to look at games and find scheduling spots, bad spots, look-ahead spots, or as I like to say, fat and sassy spots. And this is an absolute fat and sassy spot for Michigan. They cracked the top 25. They're number 24. They're coming off a week where they played 2 games in LA. They went to play USC and they went to play UCLA, big names in college basketball. They won both of those games in their first road trip to those 2 teams in the new conference. We know the Pac-12 teams that moved over. Now they're coming home. They will be a double-digit favorite on Sunday, probably 16, 17-point favorite, playing a Washington team that just literally got blown out by 34 points last night. You're going to get line value with Washington, and I think Michigan's going to come up a little flat on Sunday. Take a look at Washington plus the points, a big number on Sunday.
Yeah, I really like Jalen Hurts not to throw an interception this week. I think this sets up for a really nice Eagles game here. Shout out to producer Dan and his Eagles. Listen, Jalen Hurts only has 1 interception in the last 12 games. He threw 2 interceptions in the first game of the season against Green Bay, but that was that weird turf when they were playing in Brazil, I think it was. I just don't expect them to make those same kind of mistakes. And there's a chance the Eagles are playing with a lead here. Jordan Love's battling an injury. Christian Watson is out. Saquon Barkley is rested. I just wonder if this Green Bay team has peaked a little bit too early in the season, and you're getting an Eagles team that's lost 1 time since like October. So if they get a lead, they're going to run the ball. This is not going to be a game where Jalen Hurts needs to throw it 40 times. So I think he plays it safe. I don't think he puts the ball in harm's way. He's done an absolutely fantastic job protecting the ball over the last couple months. So I'm going to take him to not throw an interception. And we've talked all week about Lamar Jackson to throw 1.5 touchdown passes to go over on that one. Let's take Mark Andrews to score a touchdown at plus 150. No Zay Flowers. That's a big help. He has a touchdown in 6 straight games. He's been a huge red zone target. Started off the year with 5 straight games with no touchdowns. Since then, 11 touchdown catch. I mean, that's like Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, like type of touchdown numbers. 11 touchdowns since then. And the Steelers, they allowed 7 touchdowns to tight ends, 8th worst in the league. I think he's going to be a big, important red zone target for Lamar Jackson. So plus 150, I can't pass that one up. Yeah, let's just take him in round 2. This is over in Hawaii. Let's take him to shoot under 68.5. He was really good yesterday. Shot 66 for 4 under, up near the top of the leaderboard. And this is a course that sets up well for him. You don't have to be very long off the tee, and that's one of his biggest weaknesses. He kind of struggled last year. His career year was 2023, got a major win. But last year, he just kind of he's a much better golfer than what he showed last year. And last week, he was awful. He finished almost dead last. But what happened in round 1? He got back to his roots, which is hitting fairways, hitting greens, making putts. He birdied the 2 par 5s, which is essential. All he needs to do is shoot 3 under or lower to cash this one. I'm sorry, 2 under. That's the beauty. There's 2 par 5s. If he birdies those and pars the rest of them, this bet is going to cash. I really like what I saw from him. I expect him to keep improving. So I'll take Brian Harmon under 68.5. This is a round 2. And this goes off at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you have plenty of time to put this one in. Here's a little prop here. Euros Medic to win inside the distance is plus money, and I just can't pass this one up. I love his nickname. His last name is Medic, so his nickname is the Doctor. Prez, this guy loves violence. 12 professional fights. None of them have gone the distance. He's 10-2, and every single one of his wins is inside the distance. This guy just finishes fights. He's fighting Soriano. This guy's been knocked out and choked out in his last 2 losses. He dropped down a weight division, and he got a really easy opponent who just was awful. And he won this really boring, uninspiring fight. Medic is not going to let this happen to be a boring fight. Soriano does not throw very many punches. He doesn't have good volume. He doesn't have good pressure. Medic is going to be able to walk through anything that Soriano throws at him, and it's only a matter of time before Medic catches him on the chin. I think Soriano's a little bit chinny, and to get plus money on inside the distance on a guy that's never gone the distance, yeah, absolutely sign me up on Medic to get the KO here.
Tonight, guys, I'm going to make this really easy. Washington is playing Montreal, and although I have looked to bet unders in Montreal games throughout the year, This is now an over team moving forward. This Montreal team, listen to this. Last 10 games, 7 of the last 10 games, they have scored 3 or more goals. Every one of their last 10 games, they've put up at least 2. 6 of their last 10 have been 4 or more goals. Montreal is scoring at a rapid pace. And although they are playing better defensively, they don't have a world-class goalie. They don't have a world-class defense. And this Washington team is one of the top scoring teams in the league. They have changed their entire style of play in 1 year, and I'm a huge fan of their coach, Spencer something or other. I like the over in this game, guys. It's 6. I think we're going to get both teams to 3, so that's an immediate win right there. Join me. Let's go with over the total in Washington and Montreal.
I really like the Houston side, and the reason for me was pretty simple. I thought this line has a ton of recency bias to it. I have just one game to compare to, so I don't need to go long. Bottom line is this. Not long ago, what was that? A couple weeks? Houston closed at Kansas City as plus 3.5-point dogs on the road at Kansas City. Now they're getting that many points, 3 points at home against the Chargers. Absolutely makes no sense. Win or lose, I think you're getting the best of it with Houston and all the problems sadly, with the Chargers. Practice has been, affected. Their families have been affected. This is their 3rd straight road game. I mean, there's a lot of negatives on the Chargers side. I'm a little bit surprised the public's so one-sided on this. They just don't believe in Houston at all.